Rahul, a bright-eyed Indian boy, skipped into school. It was a bright and sunny morning, and the air was filled with the sounds of chirping birds and the laughter of children. Rahul loved school, not just for the lessons, but for the friends he made and the adventures they had during recess. He clutched his lunchbox, a gift from his grandmother in India. This lunchbox was special, not just because it came from his beloved grandmother, but because it was a symbol of his heritage. Every morning, his mother would pack it with delicious homemade food, reminding him of the flavors of home. It was painted bright blue and had a picture of a smiling cow on it. The cow, with its big friendly eyes and cheerful grin, always made Rahul smile. It was a conversation starter, and many of his classmates admired it.
First period flew by. My stomach rumbled, thinking of the delicious samosas inside. I could almost taste the crispy pastry and the spicy filling. The thought of the sweet mango pickle that accompanied it made my mouth water. Finally, the lunch bell rang. The sound was like music to my ears. Students rushed out of their classrooms, eager to eat and play. The hallway buzzed with excitement and chatter.
Rahul dashed to his locker. He couldn't wait to open his lunchbox and share his food with his friends. They always looked forward to tasting the different dishes his mother prepared. He swung it open. Empty. His heart sank. Where was his lunchbox? He was sure he had placed it there in the morning. Where was his lunchbox? His heart pounded like a drum solo. Panic set in. He couldn't believe it was gone. His mind raced with questions. He searched frantically, throwing crumpled papers and spare textbooks aside. Maybe it was hidden under something, or perhaps he had misplaced it. But no matter how hard he looked, it was nowhere to be found. No lunchbox. Rahul was both hungry and confused. He felt a lump in his throat and tears welling up in his eyes. How could this happen? He had been looking forward to lunch all morning. Who would take his lunchbox, and why? He couldn't think of anyone who would do such a thing. His friends were all kind and trustworthy. This was a mystery he needed to solve. Determined, Rahul decided to investigate and find out what happened to his precious lunchbox. Math class was next. Professor Peculiar, known for his mismatched socks and wild hair, droned on about fractions.
Suddenly a voice boomed through the classroom. "This is boring. Let's talk about cookies instead."
The students gasped. The voice seemed to be coming from Rahul's textbook. Rahul's jaw dropped. He quickly shut the book, his face turning as red as a fire truck.
Having a chat with the textbook, Mr. Rahul?
He chuckled. Art class was a whirlwind of color and chaos. Mrs. Rainbow, the art teacher, was a free spirit who believed in letting creativity flow.
Trying to forget the mysterious talking textbook incident, I picked up my paintbrush. Suddenly, a pencil whizzed past my ear, followed by another and another. It was a full-blown pencil fight.
"Duck for cover!" someone yelled. Rahul ducked just in time as an eraser bounced off the ceiling and landed in his hair. This day was getting weirder by the minute. After the chaotic art class, Rahul just wanted to disappear. He slumped into his seat in history class, hoping for a few minutes of peace.
But my desk had other plans. It started to wobble. Then it sprouted arms and legs, grabbing me and shaking me back and forth.
The other students roared with laughter.
"Cut it out, desk!"
Rahul cried, struggling to break free. His classmates were in hysterics. Even the usually stern history teacher, Mr. Grumbles, cracked a smile. Finally, the lunch bell rang again. The sound echoed through the hallways, signaling the much-anticipated break. Students rushed out of their classrooms, their stomachs growling in unison. It was the moment everyone had been waiting for, a brief respite from the monotony of lessons and lectures.
Oh man, I'm starving. My stomach feels like it's going to eat itself. I can't wait to get my hands on some food. The cafeteria better have something good today.
Rahul, starving and bewildered, entered the cafeteria. The scene before him was nothing short of chaotic. Students were everywhere, some standing in long lines, others already seated and devouring their meals. The noise was deafening, a mix of chatter, laughter, and the occasional shout.
Food was flying through the air. Mashed potatoes, spaghetti, even a rogue meatloaf. It was like a scene from a food fight movie. Plates and trays were being used as shields, and students were ducking and dodging to avoid the airborne cuisine.
In the center of the food fight stood a group of students, led by the school bully, Tony the Tornado Turner. Tony was notorious for causing trouble. and today was no exception. His gang was laughing and throwing food with reckless abandon, enjoying the chaos they had created.
I just want a samosa. Is that too much to ask? Rahul muttered to himself. He scanned the room, hoping to find a safe path to the food counter. The delicious aroma of freshly fried samosas wafted through the air, making his mouth water even more.
He ducked and weaved, trying to avoid the flying food. It was like navigating a battlefield, with mashed potatoes and spaghetti serving as the ammunition. Rahul's determination was unwavering. He was on a mission to get his samosa.
A glob of mashed potatoes landed on Tony's head, and the food fight abruptly stopped. The cafeteria fell silent as everyone turned to see Tony's reaction. His face turned red with anger, and for a moment it seemed like he might explode.
Everyone stared at Tony, waiting for his reaction. The tension in the room was palpable. Would he retaliate and escalate the chaos, or would he back down? The entire cafeteria held its breath, anticipating the next move in this lunchtime drama.
You're in for it now, he growled.
Tony, covered in mashed potatoes, glared at the silent cafeteria. He pointed a threatening finger at Rahul.
Rahul's heart raced. He had to get out of there. He spotted an open window and made a run for it.
Tony, wiping mashed potatoes from his eyes, saw Rahul escaping.
Get back here, he roared, chasing after him.
Rahul scrambled through the window and into the schoolyard, with Tony hot on his heels. The annual school talent show was about to begin. The gym buzzed with excitement and nervous energy. Rahul, hiding from Tony, found himself backstage.
Our magician is sick. You're the only one who can take his place.
Before Rahul could protest, he was pushed onto the stage. The spotlight blinded him. He had no magic act. What was he going to do? As Rahul stood frozen on stage, he heard Tony's booming laugh from the audience. Tony was pointing at him, enjoying his discomfort. Then something amazing happened. His classmates, seeing Rahul's fear, rallied around him. They rushed onto the stage, turning his solo act into a hilarious, improvised dance routine.
Let's do this together.
The audience roared with laughter and applause. Even Tony cracked a smile. Rahul realized that even on the craziest of days, friendship could conquer all. The talent show ended with a bang, literally, as a rogue firework from the finale exploded into a shower of confetti. The entire auditorium was filled with laughter and cheers as the colorful pieces of paper rained down on the students and teachers alike. It was a moment of pure joy and celebration, marking the end of a spectacular event that had everyone on the edge of their seats. Rahul, exhausted but happy, was called to the principal's office. He had given his all in his performance, and the applause still echoed in his ears. As he walked through the bustling hallways, he couldn't help but wonder why he was being summoned. Was it about his performance? Or perhaps something else entirely? He nervously entered the office. The principal's office was always a place of mystery and authority, and today was no different. The walls were lined with awards and certificates, a testament to the school's achievements. Rahul's heart raced as he approached the principal's desk, unsure of what to expect. Was he in trouble for the food fight, the escaping, the impromptu dance routine? His mind raced through all the possible reasons he could be in trouble. Each thought seemed more absurd than the last, but he couldn't shake the feeling of dread. He took a deep breath, trying to calm his nerves.
Rahul, she said, we found your lunchbox. The principal's voice was calm and reassuring, a stark contrast to the whirlwind of thoughts in Rahul's mind. He looked up, confused but relieved as she handed him the familiar box. It seems a family of squirrels had set up camp inside your locker, the principal continued, her eyes twinkling with amusement. Rahul's eyes widened in surprise. He had noticed some strange noises coming from his locker recently, but he never imagined it could be something like this.
She handed him his lunchbox, which now had a tiny squirrel peeking out from the side. The little creature looked up at Rahul with curious eyes, seemingly unbothered by the commotion it had caused. Rahul couldn't help but smile at the sight. Rahul couldn't help but laugh. It was the perfect ending to the funniest, strangest, most unforgettable school day ever. As he left the principal's office, lunchbox in hand, he felt a sense of relief and joy. The day's events had been a rollercoaster of emotions, but in the end, it was a day he would always remember with a smile.